Welcome to What If We Can Change It All, the podcast.
A podcast created by Movement.medicine.
My name is Shadisa.
And my name is Janina.
We believe that we have the power and therefore we can change it all.
This podcast is all about reclaiming your power.
Welcome to yet another episode. We are back and we actually wanted to tap into the more energy that's, I think, happening right now. And both in like the coaching, mentorship, whatever industry, but also just in how we are living in society now, I want to say. I think there's this hype going on where more is better and having and creating more is always better. And I think, or we think, it's actually exhausting to always like be busy with that, right? So where we want to tap into is, yes, we are always capable of creating more, and it's in our nature as well to create more and to expand and to always learn and grow, and therefore there is always a sense of like receiving more, right? But it's not about receiving more, if that makes sense. So yes, when we grow and expand and when we are evolving as humans, just by being, there is a sense of always receiving more and having more. But I think that's a natural way of receiving. And then there's this sense of where we are so busy with receiving and creating more, where I want to say it's almost getting toxic. And then it's like exhausting and it's, I want to say, like very unhealthy for our nervous system, actually.
Yeah, I would say it's not almost getting toxic. I would say it is very toxic. I recently, last week, had a conversation with two wonderful human beings, and we somehow ended also talking about this, right? And I think what I find very dangerous is the effect that it has on our nervous system, but also what kind of is dangerous is also how it is perceived, and how it is delivered to all human beings, right? And I think that on itself is very unhealthy. Like, don't get me wrong, we as humans always strive for growth and involvement because that's the way we are programmed. That is how our body is built. But that doesn't mean that you have to always have the feeling that you have more, because what happens then is that you're always living in the future. You're always living in the future. You're never present with what you have now, right? And it doesn't mean that it is bad to want more for yourself, to create that life that you desire. That's not what we're saying at all, but there's also a sense of feeling, but is that what you really want, or is that what is being projected?
Yeah, I think there's like this, so to make it clear, like we also work with goals, right, and dreams and connecting to that, and also when we work with people, and I think that's a healthy way. And at the same time, can you be grateful for what you have right now? Because I think it's a natural way to be grateful, and then the receiving starts, right? Instead of just being or striving for something, already being and seeing the next thing you want. And so I think we also both experienced that. I mean, we have been coached by different people as well. And I think at one point we were both so busy with like going after the next goal and after the next goal and after the next goal. And I think I can say that it made us more unhappy than happy, right? And I think there's a fine balance, but like with the age of Instagram and all social media and just showing like the perfect life we're living, there's the sense of, okay, but then when I have that, then I am happy. And it's not about that. It's actually the other way around. When you can be happy what you have right now, then actually you can appreciate also whatever else is coming. And so I think there's a hype going on if you do like project it on the coaching world. There's like this hype going on, showing how you're living, showing the amazing house you have, showing the amazing life you're living, showing how much money you have. And so when you have that, then you are fulfilled as a human being. And actually that's different for everyone. So some people are really becoming happy when they have the 1 million, right? For example. But for some, it's just when you have the 1,000 a month, and that's fine too. And so we don't have to always have the 1 million or wanted to strive to that to become happy. It's just what's alignment with you and what makes you happy. And I think there's such a hype of like being able to have a lot of money, don't need to work a lot and make a lot of money and then you're happy. And that's not only related to money, that's actually related to everything. But yeah, we just wanted to dive deeper into that and our own experiences with that.
Yeah, and I think because we said that we both work with like multiple people and coaches that mentored us too, right? Because we're always in expansion and we're always investing ourselves in different people. And I think what was really a pivotal moment for me is that at a certain point, like I was so focused on where I was supposed to go that everything that I had felt like a failure. And that is literally making yourself sick because you're literally stressing yourself, stressing your body out. And when I stopped working with that, I actually came to realize that the goal that I was setting was not for me. It was not something that actually would make me happy. I actually didn't need that in my life. I didn't want it in my life. But I was so programmed to believe that that is what I should want. Because I needed to have more.
Because you needed and slash I needed to become bigger.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much humbleness in being humble.
Yeah.
I think there's so much beautifulness in being humble, right? And yeah, it's not always about becoming bigger.
Nee, and I think what is important is that we still work with goals. We still have goals that we want to achieve because that's natural, right? But I think it's really good to tap into yourself. Is this really something that I want, or is this something that I'm seeing by other people? So this is what I should want as well. And am I keeping it safe for my nervous system to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that the dangerous part of that is that when we always striving for more and more and more and more, it actually brings us out of balance, I want to say. Like because we're never truly grateful with what we have, we are always striving to get the next high almost, right? It's like just chasing the next high, and then when we have the high, we actually fall down, and we don't fall down just immediately, we fall down so much into ourselves that it almost makes us unhappy. And in order to become happy again, we need to go for the next goal. And it's an interesting like cycle that's happening right now, and I think it is time to break that cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we both, as we are investing both in the same kind of mentorships and people in programs, I think we both experienced that recently as we just invested in something new, is that we were so programmed, or we were so much going into the, I don't want to say we were going into the more, because somehow, although we learned it a lot and we worked with it a lot, like in a coaching program, it never truly felt right to us, because although it was there and we were coached that way, we never really applied it into our business, for example.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, it's very because like business-wise, we both believe that yes, there needs to be a certain energy exchange, and maybe we aren't always the cheapest, right? But we do believe that at some point, in some level, it needs to be affordable for everyone, and that's also why we work payment plans. We work, well, we sometimes also, if someone truly cannot afford it, we shift around a bit. So it's weird to say, but I do want to say we are humble and we're looking at the whole picture when we work with someone. That doesn't mean that we always lower our prices, but like in that way, it's like the same, like when we were in a certain program, we were actually asked to like price our offerings higher. And so, and it always felt very sticky. And at the same time, it was promoted as, but you know, you have to value your worth. And I think that's very toxic, because it doesn't always mean that when your offerings are lower that you're not valued,
that you don't value your own work.
Yeah, thank you. And this is easy to share as a business perspective, but it's actually everywhere in daily life, right? It's also like because there's also this thing like, yeah, do you allow yourself to buy the most expensive food? And yes, there's a certain type, there is truth in it, because sometimes we just go for all the lower pricing foods or vegetables or whatever because we are afraid of losing money. But at the same time, sometimes it's not about that. Sometimes I don't know, it's just because we want it, right? Or it's just because it feels right. And I think we sometimes forget in this world where the more and more is so much in your face and so alive that we don't always need it.
Yeah, and I think what really, like, it doesn't mean that you can't have, like, for example, if you have a business, it doesn't mean that we think that you can't have high offers and that everyone that has high ticket offers are bad, or like, that's not what we're saying at all. It's about the energy that's behind them. Like, are you asking that much because you truly want to, or is it because like you just want to have more, right? And I think for us that was a really pivotal point in our business, because we realized that that is actually not what our values are, and that's not who we are as persons. So that's also not who we are as a business, because we are our business, right? And I think for us it was really good to see that for us that also didn't work, because we didn't believe in that at all.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't. Yeah. And although we could invest that in ourselves, and we did invest like high amounts of money in ourselves, and I still stand behind that because I learned from every investment that I did. And I still think that I'm worth every cent that I spent. But that I invest that for myself doesn't mean that I also need that from other people.
Yeah, that's a truth bomb, I think.
Yeah. So to make it, because Sharice gets it, because we did the same investments, right? So let's say that I invest, like, we both actually together invested, what was it?
25K.
No, it was more.
20K.
Yeah, 21. We both, yeah, 32, I think.
Yeah, 32.
We invested 32 in like how do you call it, a coach, a mentorship, whatever it was.
Business related.
Yeah, a business related mentorship, right? And I still think that, like, I still believe that I am worth that 17.5K that I paid for my part, and Sheree still think that she's worth that, right? But I also know deep down inside myself that if I were to ask that, it needs to be for myself. It needs to be because I truly, how do you say it? You know what I mean, right?
Like, if, like, at this point, if I would ask that for something, or / we would ask that for something, at this point, I think we don't stand behind it. And if we do so, I think for my own value, it needs to be so good that whatever I'm offering, I know with like the full 1000% that the person investing that will get everything out of it. And that's like an interesting thing, because how I sell my offers is that I truly stand behind whatever and all that I do. And at the same time, I know I can never promise you the results, right? Because it's me investing my 100% and giving my all to you. But at the same time, I need that from you too. And so if you don't give it to me, then I don't know if we get results that I know we can get, if that makes sense. So in that sense, I can never 100% say yes that you will get the results you want, because a huge part, 50% of that, is you. So, and I think that's the interesting part, and I know that's always the case, and that's also why we never like we never agreed on we never are sad or whatever, have a pity on anything we invested in, because we know it's also part of us. And at the same time, we will never probably go there, because we know you can never promise anything, right? And that's what you want to say.
Thank you. Yeah.
And that's the interesting part in this whole more, because a lot of times it is kind of sold with the life that that person is living, and you can never, I believe you can never sell your coaching programs with the life you're living, because then you're in some way you are promoting that.
If you work with me, you will get this.
Yeah, and that's, well, I do want to say that's not true, because it also needs to be in that person's, like the one that's investing, it needs to be in their alignment as well. And so I think, yeah, I want to say it's a lie. This is these are maybe bold words, but I do think it's a lie, because you can't. And I think that's the toxic, that's the very harmful part of the more society we're living in. And I think Instagram and the whole social media plays a huge part of it, because that video we're mostly showing just the best sides of our lives, although we're trying to be, like, if I'm honest, I try to be as real on Instagram as I want, and yet I will never share my deepest pains there, right? Yeah, or like I will never share, at least not in the moment, maybe afterwards, but in the moment I will probably never share what's going on with me. And if I do feel comfortable, I can do it afterwards. And so it's always a fantasy that, I want to say it's always a fantasy that we see on social media, because it's always censored by a level we feel comfortable to share. And so that's the interesting part of the more scene, because that's with everyone, right? Like there's always a certain level till you share, and then after that you don't share because it's too painful, it's too close to home, it's too vulnerable, which is normal, which is healthy, because it's human. And I don't think you should share everything all the time. But then it's like a bit, it's two-sided when you share that connected to your offerings.
Yeah. And I think why we find it so important to talk about this is because I think it's because we both also experienced it and did it, and we take full responsibility for that. But at the same time, I think it is important to always have that conversation with yourself. Why do I need to have this? Why do I need to have this more? And is it because, why?
Because let's be real, like mostly it just leaves you with an empty space inside of yourself.
Yeah.
And this is really bold again to claim, I guess, but it leaves you with emptiness, right? If you're just striving for more, I think it's honest to say that it leaves you with emptiness. I mean, if it's in alignment with who you are, and if you're just here, not just, but if you're here to make money, and if you're happy and satisfied with that, it's possible, right? So there's nothing wrong with that at the same time. But I think most of the time, or a lot of times, it's also connected to feeling an emptiness inside. And when it's happening because of that, then it's a different way of living it.
Yeah, I think something that I learned from my new coach is that she said, like, money is a beautiful thing, but you should never make money fill all the holes of all your needs that aren't met.
Yeah.
And that's not only with money, that's with everything. That's the same with a partner. If you want a partner, you should not expect your partner to fill all your needs that aren't met yet.
Yeah, maybe let's switch to partnership now.
Yeah.
So like when you in love someone, when you're in a relationship with someone, they can never fill up all your needs, right? That's just not possible. Like, it's just not possible. Like if you find something attractive, nice, even with sisterhood, like if I find, like I have a lot of things I find I can very be grateful for, like things Janine has, and like yeah, but it's true, right? I can be very grateful for that. I can praise that, I can see that, I can be proud of it that she has that. And there are also parts which I don't like so much, which is okay, and vice versa, right? And this is with all relationships. And so, and to then connect again to money, we somehow want money to fill up all the parts, and that's not possible. And honestly, we also want that with relationships, like a lot of time, like with romantic relationships, we want the partner to fill out all the things, and this is mostly not shown like in the first month, but after time we're like, actually I'm missing this. But are you truly missing that with your partner? Or can you find that someone else, and can you be grateful for all the other things your partner has that you actually appreciate it because you fell in love with them for those things, for those parts, right? And it's the same with the job, and it's the same with, I don't know, your home. It's like it's truly in everything, and that's, I think, to connect again to the more, that's something we forget when we're striving for more, because one thing is not able to fill up all the things.
Yeah, and I think it's really good. It's like when you stay with like the example of a person, right? Like I can't expect Charisse to fill every need that I have. So I don't have a partner, but let's say that I have a partner and it is amazing, but then there is something that I'm missing because of this and this, and like there's a good chance that it comes from my parents. There's a good chance that it comes from my sister. There's a good chance that it comes from friends that I'm missing, right? So it's like it's not healthy for me to ask that from him. And same is with money. It's not healthy for me to ask money to fulfill all of that, because money can't like get me the relationship that I have with my parents or that I'm missing out of. It can't do that with my sister. Same as that partner couldn't give that to me as well. So I think sometimes we are just focusing on one thing like that much that we're forgetting the rest. But because we focus so much on the more of, for example, having that money, but where inside are you actually missing something that you're striving to with that money?
And I think it comes back to money a lot, because I think we're so focused nowadays of creating more, and like, let's be honest, I do want to live financial free, right? So that's
I don't want to,
yeah, I don't want to struggle with money, right? And so I do fully believe in living financial free, but this might be different, is a different number for me than for her. And so this is with everyone. And I think what's advocated a lot, what's promoted a lot in the coaching industry now, is that when you do all the things, then you can create the life you wanted, aka have all the money you want. Or when you coach with someone, all your problems and all your triggers and all your traumas are healed. And this is not the case, because there will always be new traumas, there will always be new triggers, there will always be like problems with money, there will always be something that's not working out, and so you have to work harder in a certain level, right? Because your always goes like this, your life always goes like this, and that's normal, that's human, that's okay. But I think it's needed to make the ups and lows, downs and lows, highs and lows, whatever, you need to make them, or not need, but it's a bit healthy to make them a bit closer to each other, like on a daily basis. So they go like this, and then still sometimes you go here, but also you go like all the way down, 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 down. And that's normal. But I think for me, how I see it, life shouldn't be about this, right? Because then like life is truly a roller coaster. And I think we can change that. And I think that's like some perfect example we can achieve with coaching and mentorship and working with someone, because they can see our patterns and our blocks. And at the same time, we will always have the highs and lows, because that's normal.
It also makes life interesting, right? Because like if you take it back to emotions, if you only were to like fully have all the positive emotions, life would be pretty boring because everything would be in the same color. Yeah. If you are like only experiencing like positive emotions, and let's give them the color yellow, life would be pretty yellow. But what about the blues? What about the greens? What about purple? What about all these other colors that are there, right? If you only want to be happy, if you only want to have the yellow color,
you also can't be grateful for it anymore, because you don't see it anymore.
So it is actually a really beautiful thing to have that variety of color, to have that variety of ups and downs.
Yeah. So I think the point we really want to make is, yes, you will always strive for more, and at the same time, is it still in alignment with you? I think that's the most important part. Because we mostly leave out the alignment with ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think I was at this point where I was like, I need to make also millions, and if I don't do that, my business fails, and my business is not worthy. And actually, I'm like, I don't know. If I can just travel once in a while, have an amazing life together with my partner, like all those things, right? Do the things I want, and even if I sometimes have to work for it, right? Because that's totally fine too. But like, if I can do all those things, then I'm very happy. But it doesn't, for me, it doesn't mean that I have to make millions, I think. And if it happens, then I'm very grateful for it. And then it had to be like that, right? It's not about not working anymore. But or at least not for me, because I enjoy what I do. But it is about finding balance and finding that connection with self, and then at the same time connection with the higher whatever, to feel what's in alignment with you, for yourself, and with like source, with God, the energy, the universe, however you want to call it, and then let that move through you.
Yeah, and then at the same time, if you want to have the millions, also go for the millions.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that, but know
No.
that you shouldn't have to have the one to have the millions. Ooh, that was a hard sentence.
Yeah, because I think, sorry, will you finish?
No, yeah.
Okay, because I think when we go, like when we create those lists, and we go just for that, what we think we have, there is like a certain way of like this way of like creating and wanting to create more is a way of actually trying to fill out that emptiness. And with that, I don't know, it's just like this weird trip we go into, like this mind fuck trip, which I don't know, it creates so much unhealthiness in our bodies, and mostly the people that are just striving are creating a lot of unhealthiness in their bodies as well. And that's what's truly promoted, creating more like nervous system unbalances, creating more unhappiness, creating more, I don't know, not being grateful. And I know we talked a lot about not being grateful and gratefulness, but it's such a huge part of our lives, and we don't always understand that. Because when we're truly grateful, we start to see like the smaller things. And for example, I'm working with a client now, like a 6-month mentorship, and I just ask her to always write me her, like every day, her like gratitude list, being grateful, being proud of this. And so now she actually texted me last night that she's seeing like differences now, right? She can now bike through Amsterdam and be so grateful that the sun is shining on her face. And it sounds so small, but at the same time, it's such a huge win, because when you can truly enjoy that, then you start enjoying all the small things in life, and then you start enjoying the bigger things. And then there's like a sense of being grateful for everything. And then you can also be grateful for things that are not working out, and still work on making them better, but being grateful at the same time. And that's a different way of approaching life.
Yeah, and I think what I do want to mention is that, like, us doing the big investments, is that we don't blame anyone we worked with,
No.
and don't find anything wrong about it. That's what I want to highlight. But what I also want to say is that, like, for me, doing those big investments sometimes, or like going for, it's not even the big investments, it's more like the more mentality that I was living in, really gave me a hard time.
Stress.
That also, but also it gave me a hard time to connect with gratitude. And sometimes I still have troubles with that, to fully connect with my gratitude. Because in the back of my mind, sometimes there's still this thought of, oh yeah, but it's not that. Oh yeah, but it's not this yet. And I think that leaves a pattern inside of your body, and more importantly, inside of your nervous system, right? And if you're not able, if you feel so numb to like these kinds of emotions, it really sucks, to put it very politely. And I think what I really needed to give to myself is to really witness, why am I being this spoiled brat? Why can't I be grateful for just having the sun and having a walk with my dog, right? Saying it and feeling it is a different thing.
Yes.
And now I can feel it again, slowly. I can like have a little smile on my face and walking with my dog and even laugh out loud and all those things. But for a long time, it's really hard for me to connect to the emotion of gratitude. Because my nervous system saw that also as something as a lie.
Yeah, I think there are so many layers connected to this and so many layers connected to the wanting more experience. And I think the wanting more experience or the wanting more mentality is not necessarily connected to dreaming and desires and goals.
Yeah, I think that's important to mention.
And I think it's mostly promoted that the wanting more is connected to that. And for me / for us, it's not at all. And I think this is something dangerous sometimes with Instagram and yeah, the whole Instagram world, I want to say, because the more doesn't always necessarily mean the better.
Yeah. And at the same time, you don't see how much money is actually going into their accounts as well.
Yes, this is also something that sometimes I find interesting, because having the home, having the family, having the whatever doesn't always mean that you are happy, right? And so this is what we show on Instagram. I don't know, I have the family, I have the kids, I have whatever, I have the best relationship, I have the amazing home, but it doesn't always mean that they are truly happy. And this is something, and it is not necessarily connected to the more mentality and more to Instagram, but it doesn't always, like, ticking all the boxes doesn't mean that you're happy. And because in the end, it's something, a feeling that needs to come from within. And sometimes we forget that that's not always the same for everyone. I mean, having, like, I don't know, living in a tiny house, I couldn't come with something else. Living in a tiny house can be someone's dreams and can be like the ultimate, like, feeling of happiness. And not a tiny house itself, just like the feeling of, I don't know, intimate living space, being always together with, like, whatever, whoever you live with. And like big home also means, I think, more space, and therefore can mean less connection. It doesn't have to be like that, because it can be that there's still a lot of connection, right? But so it's not always, I think it's promoted so much as like the bigger the home, the better you live, the wealthier you are, the healthier you are, the more happy you are. And this is not always the case. This is what I truly want to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's a weird example, but if you look at dogs, you have big dogs and small dogs, right? But it doesn't mean that the small dogs gives you less love than the big dog. It's a very, very, very easy example, but it is the way it works. I know deeply inside my heart that my dog would love me as much as he does now if he was a pit bull. And he's just tiny.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a weird example, but
it also makes,
yeah. So that's good.
Is there anything else that comes to mind to share?
I think that we truly still believe in the power of investments, and in, like, having coaches, mentorships, programs, sessions. Like, we truly believe in that.
And there's also power in sometimes investing in something that's higher than feels safe, right? Also that, because also we do have a lot of blocks and judgment around money. So it's not that there's,
and especially when we invested in ourselves.
Yes, so there's nothing wrong with that at all. And I think there's, like, huge growth opportunities there. And that's also why we're truly grateful that we invested so much, I think, in different things. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I forgot my thought,
Also.
Really nice.
So sorry, but it just came to mind and it had to come out.
It's okay. Yeah. So yeah, we truly still believe in that. I mean, truly still believe in that there are people that are qualified to support you on your journey, to help you on your journey. So we're not saying that the whole industry is fucked. That's not what we're saying at all.
It's just, I think, go.
This is one of those things that my sister has. She does this a lot. Now I forgot my thought again. It's just groceries.
No, I forgot as well, but I think it's just it's just about, I don't know, I forgot as well, actually. Yeah. But yeah, it's not about, it's not that the whole coaching industry is bad, not at all. It's just that that it needs to be in alignment with who you are. And I think we forget that sometimes by wanting to mirror someone else.
Yeah. Is it truly what you want? Yeah, I think that's beautiful to
end this with.
Yeah, because I forgot my thought. It was I could feel it was such a good,
Okay, so when it comes to mine, we'll start the next episode with it. Thank you so much for listening. Also to seeing the real us, like when things are not working out as we planned, maybe. But I think that's also very human and very good to share too. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for still being here with us. Like and subscribe. You never say this.
No, we never. A friend of mine said it actually to me. You need to say like and subscribe because people need to do that. I was like, but I don't want to ask. And he was like, Janine, I was like, you're completely right. I should ask. So like and subscribe.
Yeah, I also saw it on another podcast. I was like, oh my God, we need to do this. So yeah, like and subscribe because it will help us a lot actually. And it's amazing to see how many people are already following us and we want to grow more, right?
Tell your friends to tell your friends to tell their friends as well.
Yeah. And leave a comment, DM us. We are very much open to conversations and we actually love when people reach out to us, honestly. Yeah. So I think that was our little promotion thingy.
One last thing. Also, if you have a subject that you really want us to step into, want to hear our opinion, because at the end, we're only giving our opinions, our experiences, right? So if you want us to tap into something, please just send us a little message. We love to hear from you. That was the last part of the little self-promotion.
And then thank you again so much for being here. We truly appreciate you and see you soon.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.